G'day off-roaders and welcome to the show. Well, the crew have been up to Scenic Rim Adventure Park near Bow Desert to catch up with a group of very, very dedicated off-roaders. This was a social meetup. No comps, no timed runs and no scores were being kept. Just a good time to be had by all. In fact, it's very rare to get this many comp trucks and buggies together in one place for anything but a competition. So we jumped at the chance of being able to have a good close-up look at some of these extreme rigs. And this is Michael, driving his truck, 2Evil. 2Evil runs on 40-inch Trepidors with Race Runner air shocks front and back. There's Toyota diffs and hydro steering. Roger, driving his Blue Moon buggy. Roger actually designed and hand-built the buggy from scratch. It's pushed along by a Nissan s1e22 turbocharged motor. And here, in the Suzuki Vitara, is Dan from Newcastle. Dan and his Navi won the 2010 Tough Truck Challenge, an extraordinary achievement for the little Suzuki. And I must admit, when I first saw these Vitaras getting around the suburbs all those years ago, extreme hardcore off-roading was the last thing on my mind. And it's a prime example of how far we've come along in relation to modifying a stock vehicle. This red MQ Shorty, owned and driven by Badline Benny. At least that's what his mates in this extreme group call him. I don't know, Ben, seems like a decent line to me. The MQ has a full exo cage over a full-bodied rig. There's a leaf spring front and a rear coil conversion. It also runs on 40-inch Trepidors. This is Brett's green GQ. Got a heavily modified body, a full truck cut down into a buggy. There's front and rear coilovers, crawler gears and Nissan diffs. Dave's 40 series buggy, look at that mega flex. There's a full chrome ollie frame housing a V8, air shocks, and what I find very impressive, the fact that it still resembles a 40 series cruiser. Dave went to a lot of trouble pressing panels and shaping the buggy as a tribute to the 40 series. Look at the amount of support added to the rear diff in these extreme rigs. This white Hilux ute has a full exo cage with a custom tray. It has a leaf sprung front and a coil conversion on the rear. It also runs 40-inch Trepidors. Now you might recognise this one. It's Matt from episode 9 of the Offroad Show. And what started out as a budget build-up certainly has taken a whole new direction. And Chris's 40 series buggy. Front and rear hydro steer, also running 40-inch Trepidors.
Yeah, I'll get out of the way, don't worry.
Crazy Craig from the Zooks of Hazard. It runs on 35-inch Silverstones and Toyota diffs. A beautiful 80 series cruiser there in an extra cab. It runs on 37-inch trepidors and it has a full exo cage. This is Craig's 40 series buggy in green. With front and rear hydrosteer, air shocks, Toyota dips and a 250 Crossflow Falcon motor, this thing is hard to stop. So hard in fact, it actually went home with a new owner that night. Now here's an excellent example for the rest of us on tyre pressure. While this example is more extreme, it demonstrates perfectly how tyre pressure affects traction. See how the low pressure allows the rubber to flex and form around the rock. It's almost as if the tyre grabs hold of the rock and lifts itself up. And why Michael has bead locks on the rims to hold the tyres on at extremely low pressures, those of us without bead locks can certainly see the value in just dropping that tyre pressure down a few extra PSI. Little Zook's leading the charge up the creek. And there'll be an update on Matt's build-up in a future episode of the Offroad Show. Watch out for that one because it's very impressive. This big rig is Brett's 40 Series Ute. It's running a Rover V8. It actually has Unimog portal axles and 44-inch swampers. Front and rear coils make this 40 Series Ute a monster. Tight squeeze for the big 80. Some skillful driving there, and it pulls through without a scratch. The Hilux looks like it's just dipping its big toe in the water to see how it feels. Yes, he's right. In we go. The front end working very well. We stay out at Scenic Rim Adventure Park, which the locals called the Wild Winter Weekend, was split into two halves. This morning run along the creek, and then an afternoon session on an extreme hill climb. And we'll bring you all the action from the afternoon session on the next episode of the Offroad Show. Thanks for watching, Offroaders.